From financial trading to financial healing is the subject I have chosen for today's video. It is a personal story about my journey as a trader and as a person. Okay, before we go into the video, I have to refer you to the risk disclosure in the written section below. Please make sure you read it. Okay, now what do I mean by financial trading and financial healing? I have been doing this for well over 20 years. I started out my life at Commerzbank, loved my visits to the stock markets. In fact, it was so exciting to me. I was 18 years of age then, and it opened a very different world to me. That said, banking wasn't for me, so different things happened for quite a number of years before I took up trading full-time about 20 years ago now, with great alacrity. Those of you who have read The Buddhist Trader, they will know a little bit about my journey. And if you haven't, by the way, read The Buddhist Trader yet, please sign up for my mailing list. I am going to do another a bit of a special offer for the Buddhist Traders relaunch. We are a little bit delayed of getting it all out on Amazon. Okay, so my early days of trading, just like everybody else, of course, were peppered with many mistakes, some of them stupid, some of them really revealing the many downfalls and pitfalls trading holds for us. And of course, the majority of those downfalls and pitfalls reside in the psychology of things, because basically trading isn't that difficult. But the psychology is quite something else. And the psychology, of course, is always to do with transition and the mind's ability to handle transition, where most people have problems with them. In the first few years of my trading, I came up against many problems, many value conflicts. And one of the biggest value conflict, which was basically the idea that being a trader would allow me to be completely in harmony with my desires for basically making a clean living. And when I say a clean living, I mean being able to make a living in such a way that I'm totally self-sufficient without treading on anybody's toes. I understood the principle that by being poor, I am not going to help a poor man to get rich. So that was not a problem. And there came a period where I did quite well with trading, and I made quite a bit of money on gold, trading gold and silver for quite some time, and thoroughly enjoyed it, I have to say. And then came a period where I was again searching and doubting things, as I was beginning to see deeper and deeper behind the structure of the markets. And this was largely aided by my partner, who is an institutional trader, or who has got, good God, over 40 years of experience and worked with some very well-known traders. And he was able to teach me a few things which made my jaw drop. So in the last 10 years of my trading life, I had become aware gradually more and more of the fact that really, ultimately, trading, yes, while playing to the idea that one can make a quick buck if one is lucky and applies the right strategies mentally and, of course, as well as trading strategies, but ultimately, I always had this nagging feeling there is more to life than sitting behind a screen and trading. And I am the kind of person who loves the exchange with other people. I love to teach, and I do not enjoy so much sitting and watching the intraday charts moving around all the time. At some point, I derived a great deal of pleasure out of it, but that, as I said, that began to wane over the years. It helped me in a way to trade with a great deal of detachment. So that was the upside of it all. However, the real satisfaction I knew came from something else. And as time went on, I realized that the old adage that you should not be emotionally attached to what you trade or what you invest in is actually incorrect. In fact, you cannot make any decisions without emotional attachment. This is a basic neuroscience 101. You need the emotional content to make decisions. So here I am trading with no emotional content and with no real engagement and with a detachment which was directed in a very different direction, and that direction was really becoming very aware of my connection to source. That was my key driving momentum for trading. Well, then I figured in the last 18 months or so that really there are other ways of experiencing that connection with source, which are perhaps for me at this stage in my journey, and let's face it, it's just stages, nothing is ever written in stone. We are going through these different stages. And I thought, well, okay, there are other things that are giving me more enjoyment at the end of the day. And of course, as I said early on, that enjoyment to me is teaching what I have learned and engaging with people. So a resurrection of the idea of doing in-house seminars was born, and working on meditation strategies for traders in-house. And just before I was about to advertise this, well, you all know what happened this year. We had the coronavirus scare, and of course, well, everything is on hold for the time being, which gave me a welcome opportunity not only to spend a lot of time and thought on rewriting the Buddhist Trader second edition, but it also gave me a chance for a lot of introspection and thinking very carefully about how I am going to move forward over the next 10, 20 years, because this is really what we are talking about, all of us, whether you are a trader, whether you are an investor, or whether you are both, whether you are just looking at how you are going to live your life going forward. The decisions we make today will have far-reaching consequences for the next 10, 20 years of our lives. So it behoves us all to take our time and to go within and work on what really matters to us. So in that sense, this so-called lockdown has got a lot of benefits to offer to us. So for me, it became very clear that over the last 20 years, of course, I've become a very, very different person. And, there's sort of hoorah, Henry-ish ideas about trading, working with other brokers, which I have done, advising on investment portfolios and things like this. It was used to be great fun. I had a thoroughly enjoyable time, but I also know this time has come to an end. It just does not hold the same excitement anymore. And I couldn't quite figure out what was going on, because there was a massive value conflict building underneath, until it finally hit me. The biggest value conflict is this. I understand. I know how the markets work. I know how the constituents of the markets work and what is going on and how things are being done. I don't really talk about it too much. However, understanding how it works and what is being achieved with it goes totally and utterly against my values. So last year in November, I think it was, I decided I'm not going to do any more intraday trading. I don't enjoy it. It's making me ill sitting in front of the computer for hours on end. Don't like how the markets behave. So I decided, right, forget it. Then, of course, the next question was, right, here we are. Do I want to do a longer term investments in the markets as they are at the moment? I've taken months to come to be able to fully be fully congruent with this. It's not for me, and I'll explain to you why. It's not for me at the moment because I am not prepared to put any money into a manipulated gold market, certainly not on the upside. I am not prepared to trade any banks, any pharmaceuticals, anything to do with development in the scientific realm, because from my understanding, from my research, what we are seeing at the moment, where there is a major clash which is going on between two forces which are vying for supremacy. I do not know enough to say with certainty how far down this battle we are to come to a resolution. I will say this much: the resolution will come in the next, shall we say, 4 years at the latest, possibly much sooner. Um, and I prefer to, at the moment, stand back. Um, and focus on what matters to me most, and that is teaching what I know and helping other people to clear their value conflicts and become congruent with a new vision of how to move forward over the next 10 and 20 years of their lives. So, and with that in mind, I have decided I am going to launch regular live, if fully interactive, live programs where I will work with a majority of 8 people per group, between 6 and 8 people. Below 6 people, it's not viable for me to do. And the idea is to help you define where you are now, define your values, and help you find a way of either trading or investing, on basically navigating this very, very interesting period we are going through. I want to make this clear just before we come to the end of the video. What I have shared with you here, and I feel it's very important to be totally open and honest about this. This is not to say to anybody who wants to trade the S&P or the Nasdaq or whatever until the cows come home, for the want of a better word. I have no problem with this, and I will do my utmost to help anybody who wants to do this to become the best trader and the best person they can be, no matter what they are doing, because after all, um, any kind of trading, any form of trading, any form of investing is nothing but a channel. I have my own ideas for what I want to do going forward. Um, I have to wait until the right opportunities present themselves, and when they do, I'll be ready to pounce. But as I said, I just want to make sure you understand this is not about judging anybody. This is just sharing with you a little bit about my journey as a trader, and above all as an individual, how I have grown into a much deeper understanding, of course, also of myself and what works for me and what is right for me. And I just had to make the decision to be true to myself, because only in being true to myself can I be true to you, be the best coach and mentor I can be for you, and be of service to you from a point of excellence and beyond, because this is the standard I have always set for myself. I do not see any reason for being in mediocrity. If I commit to something, I totally commit, and I want to give the very best I can. And I thank you for watching this video. It is also initially okay. It's out to my list. I will be making it available on YouTube a little bit later as well. Again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.